Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having an incredible day. To start things off, a German startup is attempting to list a Bitcoin derivative product on the Frankfurt and Luxembourg stock exchanges, according to a German business daily known as Handelsblatt. On the 29th of October, the startup Iconic has filed a prospectus for regulated trading of a Bitcoin exchange-traded note, which could become available as soon as the beginning of December 2019. Iconic has said that it will issue an ETN that will offer investors exposure to the seminal cryptocurrency on a regulated marketplace. The ETN will be issued by its own international or issued in its own international securities identification number. Handelsblatt stated that while Iconic is based in Frankfurt, the exchange-traded note will be regulated by Luxembourg's finance watchdog, the Luxembourg Financial Supervisory Authority. The most interesting part being the startup will directly invest collected funds into Bitcoin. Why is this interesting? Well, first of all, what we've seen before from many other companies who are trying to get into anything cryptocurrency-based exchange-traded note, ETF-wise, especially things within the United States, has been that they're normally denominated in fiat currencies, i.e. investors give them money, they set that money to the side, and they create a product that is based off of Bitcoin, but usually actual Bitcoin is never bought up or held. So it's interesting because they're going to be holding the actual Bitcoin. The startup will directly invest collected funds into Bitcoin, which will be purchased by major US-based cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase. While Coinbase is headquartered in the US, it has expanded rapidly into other jurisdictions, including Europe, over the last year. I like news like this. While it may not be the most entertaining or amazingly fantastic news about the cryptocurrency space, I like getting news like this because it lets me know and lets all of you know that there's a continued support for Bitcoin, one. And secondly, whenever we get news that a company is going to be directly buying up Bitcoin, we may not have the exact numbers here anywhere as far as how much they're trying to buy up. We typically get from companies like, we're trying to raise 50 million, 150 million to be able to invest in a bucket of cryptocurrencies. We don't have the exact numbers for this company, but the fact that they're going to be directly buying into Bitcoin, especially as things get more regulated as time goes on, we'll get a nice sense of, what's the word, of exactly how much cryptocurrencies or even just Bitcoin in this discussion, how much Bitcoin they're holding. We'll be able to do those calculations relatively soon of exactly how much Bitcoin is not circulating and how much Bitcoin these companies are buying up on a quarterly basis, which also means it's also good news if you're holding Bitcoin because the supply gets lower and lower, but we typically just don't have these numbers. Anyway, I like news like this. I find it quite interesting. And without further ado, let's move on. All right, here we go. Tron founder Justin Sun will appear on stage at the Samsung Developer Conference on Wednesday to announce a new partnership between his crypto company and the telecom giant, which is known as Samsung. Tron will be integrated into the software development kit, or the SDK, of the Samsung blockchain key store, which helps users manage private keys. The SDK allows coders to build with the Tron network by giving them direct access to the blockchain via Samsung devices. It is still unclear how this partnership changes anything for Tron token holders or users beyond wallet support. In the days leading up to the announcement, Sun tweeted about a partnership with a mega corporation that would broadly distribute Tron dApps, or decentralized applications, and tokens to billions of customers. The Pew Research Center estimated that 5 billion people currently have access to mobile devices, only half of which are smartphones. Considering Samsung is among the top hardware sellers alongside Apple and Huawei, which have both captured a significant market share, it would be a stretch to imagine that even 1 billion users gain access to the Samsung blockchain key store. CoinDesk was unable to reach Samsung for comment. We will update the article if we hear back. They did not. We heard this about a day and a half ago, that Justin Sun said that they would be partnering with a mega, super, ultra, mega rich money corporation, and that appears to now be Samsung. The partnership, as it were, appears to be support for the Tron blockchain on top of Samsung's blockchain key store for developers to potentially be able to build Tron or dApps on top of the Tron blockchain. This does not mean that they're going to be explicitly creating things that would be using the Tron tokens, but it would be on top of the Tron blockchain. However, if you're holding a token, it does almost nothing for you unless a developer is building something that would use the Tron token itself. However, that does not mean that a developer would not use or would not create an app or a dApp on top of the blockchain key store that would explicitly use Tron as its actual asset. So, I guess because it's supposed to happen Wednesday. That's today. I assume we'll get news of this as the day goes on, exactly how large this partnership is going to be, because maybe we only have maybe we only have little breadcrumbs at this point. Maybe we've only heard the beginnings of what this is going to be. For all we know, there could be a Tron phone. I doubt it, but there could be Tron-y something along the way. Anyway, that's the Tron Samsung news. I don't know if I want to call this a partnership, but it's something. I'll give them that. I will give them that. It is definitely something. Not many other or any other companies, as far as I know, have partnered with Samsung or done anything with Samsung. They also don't have their blockchain on a Samsung store or device. So, threw my hands up in the air. I'll give them that much. Let's move on. Next up, Bakkt plans to launch a consumer-facing app to help retail customers transact with cryptocurrencies, the company announced on Monday in a blog post. Bakkt Chief Product Officer Mike Blandina wrote that the company was working on developing an app to let consumers use digital assets when purchasing goods from merchants. They said, and I do quote, "We'll be launching a consumer app to make it easy for customers to discover and unlock the value of digital assets as well as ways in which they can transact or track them." It's a fancy way of saying they can buy stuff. Unlock the value of, okay. Merchants gain access to a broader set of customers with expanded spending power, end quote. He hinted that the app might support more than just Bitcoin, which is currently the only digital asset Bakkt and its parent company, the Intercontinental Exchange, provide futures contracts for. They said a key feature of the model we've designed is to support a superset of digital assets, including cryptocurrencies, as seamlessly as investors transact in stocks in a retail brokerage account. Our vision is to provide a consumer platform for managing a digital asset portfolio, whether they wish to store, transact, trade, or transfer their assets. So, the second part of Bakkt has now been revealed. In 2018, the information that we had from the people from the New York Stock Exchange is that when Bakkt launched, it would be a futures trading platform contract thingy. It would be a place where people could spend or buy things with their cryptocurrencies. This also leads us back to the conversation that we had before a couple of months ago, where the people from the New York Stock Exchange and ICE and Bakkt had partnered with Starbucks, I think Nordstrom, Microsoft, yada, 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 to be able to spend your cryptocurrencies. And the third part of Bakkt and the first part of the New York Stock Exchange thingy was the launch of a cryptocurrency exchange. Neither one of these has revealed any information about this yet. I assume if we're going to have this consumer app to be able to spend, buy, sell, trade, whatever cryptocurrencies, use it as a, what was the word? To unlock the value of our digital assets. We're not going to get that into the first half of 2020. I'm going to assume either by the very end of this year or the beginning of 2020, the people, people from the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ will probably then announce the future launch of their cryptocurrency exchange. However, with the NASDAQ being extremely hush-hush, as it were, they're probably either, realistically, honestly, they're not going to launch it at all, as they've been very quiet, or it'll be launched at something the end of 2020 or the beginning of 2021. You know how the time frame worked for all these major company organization. Anyway, kind of fascinating to see how this is going to work. As far as the support of a superset of digital assets, I'm going to assume from the get-go, the coins that they're going to be allowing or have people be able to purchase things with will be Bitcoin, Ether, and Litecoin. It's not a superset, but it's the basic set that we always get. I think that XRP could also be in there, not because XRP, the entire security conversation anymore. If XRP was a security at this point, they would have been slammed into the ground. People, US citizens would not be able to use, buy, sell, hold, or trade XRP if it was a security at this point. I think it's more so the people from Ripple and XRP Labs and all this other stuff have been talking about XRP as a utility coin and more of as an asset. So I don't know if the integration would kind of be there. I assume if they don't add XRP from the get-go, people would let them know that they should be adding it. I assume that's when the adding on will come later. I'm interested to see exactly if they're going to just have 100 coins that people can use, or if it'll be a basket of around 10, 11, 12, 13 coins. That'll shift mentality as far as potentially which coins people should have in their portfolio. Anyway, yeah, that's the second part of Bakkt. Hopefully we hear about part 3 relatively soon, and without further ado, let's move on. After nearly running off course, the popular crypto analyst Plan B says Bitcoin is back on track to hit $100,000. The analyst, whose Bitcoin predictions have made it all the way to CNBC, says Bitcoin's stock-to-flow ratio shows the leading cryptocurrency is right on target after nearly running into a ditch. I should have made this a lot bigger, but for those of you who can't see it, this is his charting where he thinks that Bitcoin's price will be over the coming years. If you've never heard of Plan B, he believes that eventually Bitcoin will be a multi-trillion-dollar asset, and he has said for a while now that he thinks that Bitcoin is on track to hitting 100,000 within the next couple of months as we get closer to the actual halvening. He says that by the year 2024, Bitcoin's price will be around $1 million. And by 2028, he said multiple times he doesn't want to say the number out loud because it seems absurd. On Thursday, before the start of Bitcoin's big rally, Plan B retweeted analysis from fellow Bitcoiner Rob Wolfram, who said Bitcoin came within one standard error of his stock-to-flow model. Stock-to-flow measures the amount of a new supply that's entering the market for a given asset against its current available supply. It's often used to gauge the future price of precious metals like gold. It's pretty much how much Bitcoin is coming in from the creation of it with the miners to how much do we have right now. And as we know that the amount of Bitcoin that goes into the market decreases every 4 years, and the amount of it, the supply for the actual market doesn't increase as rapidly, especially as it's going to start trickling out more and more, or less and less, I should say. This is the reason why he has graphed Bitcoin going to over 1 million within the next couple of years. Anyway, we're seeing a lot more, I don't want to say predictions, we're seeing a lot more people coming out with their idea of where they think that Bitcoin is going to be within the next couple of years. It's all quite fascinating. Let's see if any of it actually comes true. And not even more of a come true, it's more like a let's see if it works as far as all these graphs and stuff. A lot of them have been on track. It's just that the numbers, the really crazy numbers, have not been hit yet. We have not seen a $40,000 Bitcoin, but according to many of these charts, we will apparently very soon. Air quotes. And also, Mr. McAfee once again talking about that Bitcoin is going to hit 2 million by the end of next year. I would not be upset. However, I don't think 2 million's a lot. Anyway, let's move on. Crypto enthusiasts are telling Ethereum's creator, Vitalik Buterin, that they don't want the blockchain to be able to reverse transactions. In a new Twitter poll, 63% of respondents said it is never okay to wind back the clock and undo transactions. This happens without even having to go too deep into it. Ethereum has had many smart contracts that have been hacked. I think maybe 2 or 3 that have been really made the news. One was the first DAO that we had, the Decentralized Autonomous Organization. I forgot how many Ether were inside of it. It was a huge amount, especially at the time. And what ended up happening was that the people from Ethereum, there's a difference, Ethereum, forked the network. They went back, forked it before the hack actually happened. And this is why we have Ethereum and Ethereum Classic. So, in the event that another hack should happen, Vitalik Buterin was asking if people thought it would be acceptable to ever have to reverse the blockchain, or to reverse transactions, to be able to recover those funds. It's a really weird 2-sided sword. 3-sided sword, it's a sword that hurts. Because if a major smart contract does take place, and it is hacked, as we saw before, people lose their money. On the opposite side of that, there are people who don't care that other people lost their money and think, well, now there's less of it circulating around. It seems very cruel, but this is how the actual mindset is. There have been discussions before in the past about reversing Bitcoin transactions or trying to get the miners to be able to potentially come together with consensus to maybe reverse transactions on the blockchain. This was obviously voted down. People said, no, Bitcoin is as it is. This is a discussion because there are, according to analysis, anywhere from 4 to 6 million Bitcoin lost forever. People lost their computers, lost their, I almost said hotkeys, lost their private keys, etc., etc. So some of the very first people who were mining Bitcoin maybe had 45,000, didn't see it having any value, bought a new computer, threw the old one away. I know it hurts to hear that, but it's estimated that millions of Bitcoin are completely lost forever. So this is kind of the discussion that he was trying to have. I don't know. I'm very torn because it's kind of like if we could reverse the events of the 2008 financial crisis, would you if you could? That's kind of the question that's kind of being posed or proposed. Would you make sure that you had that event never happen? Or would you make it so that we have an event like this happen so that we as a community can realize from our mistakes and never do something like that again? It's a very weird, double-edged sword kind of thing. Anyway, I mean, it kind of is what it is, but it appears this will be never happening on the Ethereum blockchain again. The crypto exchange Binance has said a recent upgrade to the Stellar network has removed staking. The move means holders of Lumens can no longer stake their coins, which essentially gives holders voting power and the ability to earn dividends by locking up their funds. They said Binance will distribute staking rewards earned from Stellar, earned up to the time of the upgrade, which occurred on the 28th of October. Users will still receive the Lumens distributed in the first 5 days of November. Moving forward, users will no longer receive any Stellar rewards. I don't know exactly what that means as far as, is that the entirety of the Lumens network? I'll be honest with you, Lumens and Stellar are not something that I'm like actively searching for on a daily basis. Don't really care about them. Sorry for being honest. If that has happened, I wonder what that means for Stellar's price. Stellar is never usually in the news, ever. We never hear about Stellar. The last time we heard about Stellar was when Binance announced or initiated staking of Lumens on their platform. If that's not a thing, I wonder if people are going to still hold their Lumens. Anyway, that's the Lumens news for ya. And to really finish things off, for those of you not looking at the screen, it says altcoins prepare to rally in the shadow of Bitcoin's recent 42% gains. We are at that period once again. We're almost towards the end of the year. A lot of people are anticipating some type of an altcoin movement seasonal rally. because of Bitcoin's huge gains. I'll tell you one thing, and this is not my opinion, this is pretty much what's taken place. We heard at the end of last year, many analysts who said that altcoins would not move or have significant movements ever again, but Bitcoin would. And at the end of last year, the beginning of this year, that sounded crazy. It sounded like something that none of us could have foreseen or predicted. And lo and behold, this year, I mean, Bitcoin may have moved down. However, Bitcoin's price did go from 3,000 to 14,000. Many altcoins have maybe risen around a good anywhere from 20 to 70%, and a lot of them have not been able to hold those gains as much. I don't think we're going to have an actual altcoin season. I hope that for those of you who've been here for a while, there's like what's the word? I say something and then the opposite comes true. So let's hope, rather, I don't think there's going to be an altcoin rally. It doesn't seem too believable at this point. Maybe by the end of this year. We've seen before at the end of years, cryptocurrency prices have completely lost their minds and started skyrocketing. I wonder what's going to happen. From a very realistic standpoint, I read your comments. A lot of people are waiting for this rally to happen. And what I think is going to take place, now bear with me, I think if we have a significant altcoin rally, and I mean something out of this world, within the next 8 weeks, I think a lot of people are going to start selling off their altcoins for fiat. And I say this for a number of reasons. Waiting 2 to 3 years for something is a very long time. I can only imagine, in the most realistic terms, how many people out there have had kids, have just gotten married, have just moved, have bills, have been looking to buy a house. I'm going to say this in the most honest way. If XRP goes from 30 cents, 29 cents, wherever it is right now, and goes to $6, $7, $8, and you have to sell, nobody's going to fault you for having to pay for things that you have in your life. You don't have to hodl forever. You don't. The people, most people, especially like the people on TV who are telling you to hodl and hold forever, are the people who already have millions and millions of dollars. So hodling means nothing to them because they already have tons of money in the bank. I foresee a future relatively, I don't want to say soon, whenever the market does height, like really like 2017 all over again, a lot of people are going to start selling off their alts to be able to buy things and do things in their normal life. And I think that'll cause a major crash in the altcoin market, which will then lead us to another situation of which coins will survive into the next 5 years. Anyway, a lot of people I'm seeing this all over again. People talking about that altcoins are getting ready to move. We'll see if it happens. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters: Bodie McBoatface, Yes to Crypto, Miller Hitch Test Every Day and Kyle Skips Leg Day, Minting Coins, Jeremy Fox, Jim Gardner, Anthony Charles, Nick Mangialavori, Paxis, Crypto and Beer Shipmate, Vlad the Impaler, Richie Rich the Third, Nick Kanaya, Set Suna, Damien, Nicholas Renearth, One Piece One Love, Cryptopolis, Crypto Artist, Cole D 3D, Strange Radio Central, Mechanic, Milweezy, Adobo, Bank Roll Network, Crypto Joe, 242 to the World, Wise Night Owl, Jared Schneider, Triple M and J, Woody and Daisy, Brady Niels, Master Ventures in Thailand, Mohair Maroney, Adam Graysick, Todd Mullis, and Professor Wally from Gun Bot University. Thank you all very, very much for your support. At the moment, the market is slightly red. Bitcoin's down a tiny bit. It looks like many coins are, according to this chart at least, it looks like they're trying to move back up. I don't think a movement down will hold for that much longer. Don't know for certain. However, many coins are currently in the red, but it's not a bad red. It's not like a 15% down. Red is like a 1.95, 2 point something percent down. Tron is not up as much as I thought it would be. Maybe this news simply has not a spread. Maybe people are waiting for an actual confirmation from Samsung, or maybe they're waiting for more information because, yeah, I think many of the China coins, air quote, have gone down in price since a lot of the hype of China getting or potentially getting back into the market have flown around. Not many coins are up at all, if any. Yeah, it's one of those days. I hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening. And I will definitely be talking to you all soon. See you.